From aero bodywork and floor pans to data acquisition and AI, is innovation what karting needs? Let's get into it. As a longtime race official, every once in a while somebody tries to bring something into karting that is new or, they got from somebody else and are calling new to sell to customers. And these things are inevitably illegal. Now, a lot of these people complain that we're stifling innovation and that the rules are a problem and hurting the growth of karting. But is that true? Or are they just salty because they want to get paid? To be clear, there are ways to innovate in karting. But let's say you want to innovate something in karting that you know is outside the rules. Well, I got one question for you. Now I'm actually being serious, because the answer to that question is going to dictate everything that you believe about what innovation is and what it's for. Because innovation has to have a goal, a direction. It has to mean something. So what should karting be? Let's start with... If karting is supposed to be part of a ladder system, it needs to be designed for an end goal series. That means training drivers in the kinds of skills and requirements that end series is going to need. Even if it's the ground floor, there is still a direction that needs to go. NASCAR requires a very different skill set than Formula One, and their ladder series reflect that. So understanding that, what should karting be building to? It's the most popular series in the world. It's the one that most people are talking about. With F1 as the goal, there's room for everything. Technology, aerodynamics, engineering. You could turn a kart into a little formula car. If innovation starts at the club and we start pushing for aerodynamics and more technology in it, how is the average person even going to be able to afford to get into it, let alone wrap their head around the ever-evolving complexity and technology within it? If karting from club up is all focused on getting to Formula One, where do drivers go who don't make it? So maybe it's more appropriate to aim for IndyCar, which is a much more analog experience. There is data and engineers, but not at the same level that you're going to have in Formula One. But the car itself is much less about technology than it is wrestling that thing around a racetrack. Really, I don't think their physicality is matched anywhere else in racing today. I mean, they are essentially 1970 Formula One cars the way they drive. Now with IndyCar, there really is a true pathway through karting. It's still not cheap, but it is possible. We see drivers do it all the time. So if IndyCar is the end goal, then that's the way that we should be training our drivers and putting them on the path to get on the road to Indy. And that's a very different pathway than it is to Formula One. Now, lots of go-kart racers end up in GT cars of all different type and description. Say you're going to the top, like IMSA, ELMS, you want to race Le Mans. Now for that pathway, you're looking for something that's a little bigger and heavier and slower. It's a little bit harder on its tires. It doesn't have quite the kind of grip that you would expect in, say, something heading on its way to IndyCar. So throw some bodywork, some weight on it, and off you go. Maybe you want to go the prototype route. Now, that's actually probably a little more analogous to the open wheel cars, but it is a ladder system that you can get into. And really with them, you're talking about adding some aero and bodywork and just make it really fragile. Now, NASCAR doesn't really need anything from sprint karting. They have their own ladder system that works through karting that's, already on ovals and usually in dirt. So sprint kart racing really doesn't add anything to that ladder system. It really already exists on its own. What if karting was a general bottom rung of a ladder? Instead of being focused on a particular series, it's there to give you the basics of the basics. Because you want drivers to be able to step into any ladder system, go-kart racing becomes racing 101. There is no aging out. There is no specialization into a particular series or technology. It is about the basics. You can become an expert in kart racing and enjoy a wonderful long career. Or you can use racing as a ladder system and bump your way up into something that specializes into where you want to go. That means innovation in karting is going to be a trickle. There's no reason to be pushing for high dollar, high technology, high complexity things because You don't know if that's going to serve the driver in the future, but you know absolutely certain that it's going to limit the amount of people who can get into the sport. If you want to turn karting into an entertaining sport with a bunch of fans and all this attention around it, then your next step is marketing. See, until you choose and understand a demographic and then start marketing to them, you don't know if your product is good or not. At the moment, karting is growing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to grow an audience beyond people within the sphere of karting and motorsports itself. You have to understand what a potential audience exists out there, what that potential audience wants, and then figure out how to get their attention with karting. Throwing data acquisition or aerodynamics or fancy metals at karts doesn't do any of that. It doesn't offer an audience anything if you don't know who that audience is going to be. Remember, IndyCar is a spec series and its numbers are growing. NASCAR has been innovating for decades now and it shrank. And it's struggling to try and grow. Innovation in itself is meaningless without a well-understood goal. Right now, the audience for karting are karters, or people who are interested in motorsports that would like to get involved. Let's be honest, the vast majority of karters aren't here because they expect to go to Formula One. They're here because they love racing. And if innovation was the driver of that, new parts, new fancy things, karting would have died decades ago. The karts of the 90s aren't that far removed from the karts of today. And those karts in the 90s aren't that far removed from the karts in the 60s. The innovations have been small increments. It hasn't been leaps and bounds. Innovation means cost and complexity. Racing is already the most complex sport in the world. Consider all of a sudden mid-season, a particular part comes out that everybody has to be competitive, and it's only controlled by one race team. Do you think that's going to help racing or it's going to hurt it? But a series focused on keeping costs down, on giving people more time on track, on giving them value for their money, has a good chance at growing. Now, karting as a ladder system is just baked into motorsports. There is so much that somebody can learn in the basics of how motorsports works, how to drive, how to race. But to imagine karting only as a ladder system completely ignores the reality of what racing karts is. And that is that racing karts is its own thing. It doesn't have to be a professional series where you make a living, because most people won't. And if you want more innovation, more tricks, more stuff, more aero, to what end? What is the purpose, the goal that you're going for? Is it just to make more money? Because that's about an individual. Is it because you want karting to become more of a spectator sport and gain more entertainment? Well, that's marketing. Or is it because you think you have an idea that will give you a competitive advantage over anybody else, and that's just about you? So unless a series wants to make it a very exclusive pathway, they have to keep innovation under control and scrutiny at all times. Because the history of motorsports is absolutely full of series that let it go rampant and died because of it. It led to cost and complexity problems that became too much for the average racer to bear. They have to make it more accessible to the largest number of people possible within reason so that the sport can grow. So what do you think? Is there room for more innovation in karting? What kind of innovation do you want to see in karting? Do you have parts, things that you want? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Do all those good things. Comment below, and I will see you at the racetrack.